Hello friends, welcome. I'm recording the second video of the day, but I was forced to do it because out of boredom I was looking at the Google website and it came to my notice these news items, right? And with China coming out with DeepSeek, anything that China publishes catches the attention of the world, whether it is relevant or not. People just do the story. So let's look at the headline, what it is saying, and look how Elon Musk is concerned, sitting here. So why I'm laughing, I'm sorry for that. Because the story is so hilarious, I can't stop laughing. Let me tell you why. The headline says China shocks Elon Musk, launches 10 times faster internet than Starlink. Okay? Factually correct, by the way, right? There is no problem with this particular article, and there are so many articles, and this is not a article to be released today because this is an old news. It came out long back. Okay. Now let me go through the details of this news. This is the article which has been published, and if you look at this article, it talks about that Chinese company has surpassed Elon Musk and Starlink in terms of transmitting satellite data to Earth. At the end of December, the Chinese achieved a record data transmission of 100 Gbps using laser. Okay, for anything that if you transmit data using laser, it has to be at that speed. It says that the technological breakthrough enabled a range of infrastructure improvement in space. Experts say, including the areas of remote sensing, yes, mobile communication, yes, with 6G. Chinese company sets another record, and then it often refers to as simply as Chang Guang. It operates a constellation of 117 satellites for remote sensing. Then it says transmit 100 feature films in just 1 second. And I'll just point out one important statement, the quote here by Mr. Wang. It says, Musk Starlink has introduced its communication system between satellites but not yet installed satellite to ground communication via laser. These are all factually correct statements. There is nothing wrong with that. Okay. So in nutshell, what it is saying? It is saying that there are 117 satellites which are communicating with ground station with laser beams, and therefore they are able to transmit data at an astronomically high speed, which is not possible using conventional satellite which Elon Musk is using, which is Starlink. Let me now break it down in a technical way so that you understand why a certain application is used for a particular purpose, or a certain way of transmission is used for a particular application versus any other. Now it also says, if you look at this, it says Musk Starlink introduced intercommunication system between satellites. Now let's break it down. See, you have got multiple satellites roaming in the sky, right, and providing mobile coverage, right? Now these satellites have to talk to each other. Not only they are talking to the ground station. So let's say if there is a satellite here and it is talking to the ground station, and it is also talking to each other. So there are satellites which are parallel to each other. Why it is talking to each other? It is talking to each other in order to create a mesh system so as to optimize the communication link so that the data can be transferred across each other for aggregation into a central hub, right? It becomes more efficient because when a satellite is in view, it may not be on the horizon of the gateway all the time. So it can act as an aggregation hub to collect data from multiple satellites to steer into the hub for processing. Hub is a gateway on ground where the data is processed and is connected to the terrestrial network like PST and others, from where, or terrestrial internet network, from where the information will be disseminated for access to everybody. Otherwise, if you don't connect to the internet, terrestrial internet, satellite internet, makes no sense. So that hub actually is located on the ground in multiple places. And in order for the connectivity of the satellite with the hub is efficient, because all the satellites may not have visibility to the hub because they are located in different locations, but they have visibility over the sky because they are near to each other and there are no obstruction. They can see each other. There are no curvature of the earth to block them. So there are no atmosphere there. There are no clouds. So you can communicate across each other using laser beams, which is the right thing to do because nobody will block them and you have got line of sight propagation. So you can do that. However, if you are trying to communicate in a ground station using using a laser beam, imagine the kind of bottlenecks that you have to deal with, which technology will not be able to solve. Let me explain why. First, you will basically face obstruction from clouds. Have you seen that the clouds are not, have you seen days without clouds? There are very few. Most of the time you will find some white clouds, rain clouds roaming around in the sky and blocking the horizon. Now, radio waves can penetrate those clouds, because if there is a cloud here, the radio waves can penetrate, but not the laser beams. The laser will be obstructed because they are extremely high frequency. Sometimes those are going to get blocked by clouds, right? And there could be water vapors, there are all kinds of obstruction, dust particle, there will be really dispersion, all kind of dispersion will take place, and there will be attenuation. And therefore, communicating within the atmosphere using laser beam is a very Herculean task. So that is one point. The second point is that, let's say if you have a satellite here, right? And if you have multiple users here, multiple of them located here, this satellite needs to have multiple beams, right? You need to have multiple beams for catering to each and every individual, right? Because these beams are very sharp. So they have to multiple beams to cater for each and every individuals, right? So if you have, let's say, 100 users on ground here, right, located here on ground, and the satellite is here, all of these users have to individually connect it to the satellite. One beam cannot serve multiple users because these beams are very, very sharp. So how many users we will be able to serve in one particular footprint of the satellite? Let me ask you this question. It is impossible to serve many because the satellite is going to be incapable of driving so many beams. Not possible. Right? So therefore, this solution which is being spoken about definitely is going to deliver huge amount of bandwidth, but there are practical problems, and that is why whenever you are trying to communicate on ground stations which are located on ground, you need a wider beam, and that beam is going to take into consideration the requirements of all the users in the footprint, wherever the users are located. Let me just take a round. So this is a footprint, right? There are multiple users here in this particular footprint, and those users have to be taken into consideration from the point of view of the RF beam. An RF beam has to be wider. It can't be sharper to cater to only one individual user. So if this is the case, if Musk has chosen RF beam to communicate to the users on ground, and only laser beams to communicate between satellite, it is with a purpose. And then I forgot to tell you a couple of more things. Suppose, let's say, if you have a disk on ground, and that disk is talking to the satellite, right, on the horizon, and it has a beam which is down below like this, So you can imagine the kind of trackability is required of this particular disk. The disk has to move to track the beam. It can't be even in 1 centimeter and millimeter. There cannot be in a millimeter of error to track the beam. It is so accurate. And there has to be handoff issue. So it will make the device on ground, the ground device will be extremely, extremely costly. It is no longer catered for generic consumer usage. You got my point? What I'm pressing. So these kind of headlines, when they come, the accuracy, there is no problem with the accuracy of this headline, right? But these are hyped so much for readability purpose, the common man will not understand. And that is the reason I am doing this video. This came out in 24th of January 2025, and there were other articles which came out long before that. This is not a new announcement which China did. So they are trying to communicate, and they have a purpose. In some specific purpose, it really helps. When you are in a remote area, in a desert, in a clear sky, and you want to communicate, you can't rely on conventional link. When you have to transmit huge amount of data, you can do that, but not for consumer purpose, not for purpose for selling connection. It's not going to work. It's going to be extremely costly, right? So that is what I wanted to talk about here. It is not about a race between US and China. There could be issues, there could be technology races like AI, chatbot, etc. But you have to look at it from a holistic perspective. Many things, many people and many companies can do, But does it make sense from a business point of view? That is also have to be looked into now. So anyway, friends, I thought to kind of bring this on the table of the viewers so that people can understand that what is it that they're talking about, what are the constraints, what are the opportunities, and whether it makes business and commercial sense or not. And I hope I have made my point and you have understood what I am talking about. And thanks for listening till the end, and I'll come back with a new video next time. Thank you very much.